A pleasant good evening, Bahamas, and welcome to another exciting episode of Visionaries. We're at the Bank of the Bahamas. We're talking all about trust and estate planning this month, Lovers Month, Valentine's, and we'll be speaking with Mrs. Diane Bingham. She's the Senior Manager of Private Banking and Trust at the Bank of the Bahamas. We'll have that story plus much more when Visionaries returns in a moment.
Happy Valentine's from Island Preacher Weddings. Island Preacher Weddings. Planning to get married this year? Let Island Preacher Weddings assist you. Island Preacher Weddings is a licensed wedding officiant and justice of the peace. We create memorable wedding services, ceremonies island style. Our office number 356-5683 or 325-0683. Our US line 307-1437. We are located on Charlotte Street between Shirley and Bay Street. Get 25% off your chapel wedding for the month of February 2013. Legal work not included in discount. Also, happy Valentine's from Pedal Pushers, elegant florists for every blooming thing. Pedal Pushers, East Bay Street, telephone 326-2663. And Pedal Pushers on Carmichael Road, telephone 341-0195. Pre-order your Valentine's Day arrangement now. Prices will be honored until February 8, 2013. Get 12 Baccarat roses arranged for $180. 12 regular red roses arranged for $120. 12 regular red roses with 3 Casablanca lilies arranged for $140. And 6 regular red roses arranged for $60. Also, happy Valentine's from Accessory Haven, the mall at Marathon. Telephone 393-8317. Baha Retreat and Anti-Aging Spa, East Bay Street. Telephone 323-6711. BahamasLocal.com 676-2685. Bank of the Bahamas, Shirley and Charlotte Streets, Tonic Williams Darling Highway, Thompson Boulevard, Carmichael Road, Village Road. Telephone 397-3000. Super Wash and its 9 convenient locations. Telephone 323-6726. Nassau Street and Boyd Road, Gibbs Corner, East Street and Soldier Road, Wolf Road and Mackey Street, Robinson Road and Blue Hill Road, Blue Hill and Carmichael Road, Robinson Road and Minnie Street, Prince Charles at Fox Hill, and Carmichael Road and Fayette Avenue. And US Gold, telephone 395-8257. East Street, Bay Street, Village Road, Marathon Mall, Thompson Boulevard.
Welcome back to Visionaries Wealth Management and Business Show. We're at the Bank of the Bahamas on Charlotte Street and Shirley Street. We're speaking with Mrs. Diane Bingham. She is the Senior Manager of Private Banking and Trust at the Bank of the Bahamas International. Mrs. Bingham has more than 25 years covering wealth management and trust. Mrs. Bingham, welcome to Visionaries Wealth Management and Business Show, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Anastasia. I'm happy to be here.
Mrs. Bingham, how pleased is the Bank of the Bahamas to offer services such as private banking, trust, and estate planning to its valuable clients, ma'am?
Anastasia, first I'd like to say Bank of the Bahamas is extremely pleased, and we're actually ecstatic that we are able to offer these types of services to Bahamian clients. You may be aware that private banking services, trust services, estate planning has been offered from within the Bahamas for more than half a century. And it was offered to international clients, or what we call offshore clients. But Bank of the Bahamas, recognizing that we've had a growth with regard to professionals locally, and also we've had growth with regard to assets that are held by Bahamians. So we recognized that there was a need to provide this service, and we actually introduced the service in 2000. So we're extremely pleased to be able to do this.
Many people, when they hear the term private banking and trust, they think of well-to-do quote-unquote persons, but I have been made to understand that these are actually services that you provide to non-Bahamians and Bahamians alike, ma'am?
Absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct, Anastasia, because the word trust years ago really was something associated with people of wealth, and it originated from the British, really. And people have always viewed it as something where you needed to have a whole lot of money, millions of dollars, in order to have a trust. But actually that is not so. Trust is something that can be used for asset protection, succession planning, estate planning, and it's a vehicle that is available for our local domestic clients. And believe it or not, as soon as you acquire an asset, you can think about trust services.
Welcome to BOB, Bank of Solutions.
Clean clothes for the family, uniforms for the baby, suit for mommy and daddy. We wash and suppress and clean the super. If you wanna look fly and you wanna look clean, if you wanna look fresh, better than all the rest. Bring on your church clothes and all your work clothes. Bring on your children's clothes. Super wash.
Looking for quiet, relaxation, elegance and luxurious but yet affordable pampering? Come and see us at Baja Retreat Spa, East Bay Street next to Luciano's. How about a manicure, pedicure, facial, eyebrow threading and body sugaring? You can purchase an instant gift certificate online at www.bajaretreat.com or call us at 323-6711.
You ask how long.
Where can we find a good printing company?
How about BahamasLocal.com?
Where can we find a good restaurant to have our business meetings?
Well, there's BahamasLocal.com.
Where can we advertise our business to give us the most exposure for the least cost?
BahamasLocal.com?
Hold it now. You all hold on. How about BahamasLocal.com?
Yes, BahamasLocal.com.
Why didn't we think of that?
With BahamasLocal.com, you can find restaurants, mechanics, real estate, doctors, stores, hotels, hairstylists, even the latest news, reviews, entertainment, and anything you need fast.
You know what I paid all you guys for when I have to come up with all the great ideas? What's wrong with you all?
BahamasLocal.com, your Bahamas online search engine. To find out more information about advertising your business on BahamasLocal.com, visit our website at BahamasLocal.com or call us at 676-2683.
Welcome back to Visionaries Show in our special interview with Mrs. Diane Bingham, Senior Manager, Private Banking and Trust, Bank of the Bahamas International, on the topic of trust and estate planning.
Mrs. Bingham, what actually is a trust and how does this service assist your Bank of the Bahamas clients, ma'am?
A trust, and I'm going to be very general with regard to this because you can get very involved when you talk about what a trust is, because there are various types of trusts. You know, we have personal trust, beneficiary trust, executive trust, purpose trusts. Under the legislation in the Bahamas, you have private trust companies. We have what we call charitable trust. So basically, a trust is really an arrangement. It's a contractual arrangement between two parties in its most simple term. Those being a settlor, who will be deemed the person that would transfer these assets to the trustee, the second party being the trustee, of course, and in this case, Bank of the Bahamas as corporate trustee. And the contract is drawn up in such a way that there are terms and conditions that govern the actions of both the settlor and the trustee, because ultimately the arrangement was set up for third party, whom we call beneficiaries. And that can be corporate entities, foundations, individuals. So it is really a concept. It's not an entity. It's an arrangement. It's valid under the laws of the jurisdiction of the Bahamas, and it's been in operations for hundreds of years. And within the Bahamas, like I said, for more than half a century. And it's not an arrangement that is limited to individuals. Trust can be used for commercial purposes. In the case of providing pension trustee services, which the Bank of the Bahamas has really developed a niche for himself, this is one of the other types of purposes other than personal uses that the trust can be used for.
What is estate planning and what services do you offer in the area of estate planning, Mrs. Bingham?
Estate planning. First of all, I guess we need to define what is an estate.
Thank you.
Because some people may think of an estate as being a large, sprawling piece of land, with a house or something on it. But an estate for an individual really is collectively all of the assets that a person may own. And that estate can consist of real property, it can consist of portfolios, securities portfolios, it can consist of bank accounts, cash in hand, jewelry, and of course real estate, automobiles. So an estate collectively is all of the assets that an individual during their lifetime may have and will have accumulated, and that they will hold at the time of their demise, such that there is a value that is attached to it. It is something that the individual has a beneficial interest in, and the individual themselves has the right to determine how that estate will be distributed during their lifetime, which is what a trust provides, and with a will subsequently after their demise. So you can see that when I say estate, one individual may hold an automobile, a house, a little securities portfolio. Another individual may hold an operating business. He may hold interest in a partnership. He may hold a securities portfolio. He may hold some cash in the bank. He may have an interest in a company overseas, shares. So in summary, really, the estate of an individual consists of all of his combined assets. And with estate planning, what we attempt to do with an individual is sit down with them and look at how best to assist them in one of two ways. One, growing that, if we develop a relationship with him during his lifetime, and then subsequently after his demise, how does he want to have this distributed? And ensuring him and giving him the comfort that it will happen the way the individual intends it to happen.
Welcome to BOB, Bank of Solutions.
Clean clothes for the family, uniforms for the baby, suit for mommy and daddy. We want you to press to clean the Super Bowl. If you wanna look fly and you wanna look clean, if you wanna look fresh, better than all the rest. Bring all your church clothes and all your work clothes. Bring all your children clothes. Super Wash.
US Gold stand behind you. Their valued customers 100% with no games and no gimmicks like the imitators and the fakers. US Gold stand behind their trademark that they pay more than any other gold or silver buying establishment. And now sending out word to you conch vendors and fishermen that they're now buying conch pearls and paying you top dollar for your conch pearls. You know the drill. Nobody pays more for your gold or silver. And now conch pearls. Call them at 431-3847 or go into Thompson Boulevard and ask for Casey or Charles. Be 100% sure that it's US Gold or nothing.
Looking for quiet, relaxation, elegance and luxurious but yet affordable pampering? Come and see us at Baja Retreat Spa, East Bay Street next to Luciano's. How about a manicure, pedicure, facial, eyebrow threading and body sugaring? You can purchase an instant gift certificate online at www.bajaretreat.com or call us at 323-6711.
You ask how long.
Welcome back to Visionaries Show. In our special interview with Mrs. Diane Bingham, Senior Manager, Private Banking and Trust, Bank of the Bahamas International, on the topic of trust and estate planning.
Now in the Bahamas, you often hear of infighting after a loved one dies. There's infighting between siblings, whether it's a brother or sister, over land or money or real estate. How does having a trust that is managed by the Bank of the Bahamas help stop this problem from occurring, Mrs. Bingham?
Okay, Anastasia, that is so true. And you know, I've seen various examples of it during my time personally, as well as in a professional capacity with companies, where individuals, and you know what, we have a Bahamian saying that even tongue and teeth is fall out. And it is so true when it, unfortunately, when it comes to assets, when it comes to power, when it comes to money. And we've seen sibling rivalry, but we've also seen siblings who at the end of the day don't speak to each other because one sibling may have been left as the executor of a will. Another sibling may have interpreted a will differently from the executor. And in most cases, they may not have sought legal advice or may not have clarified to the satisfaction of all. So the executor may have taken an action or made a decision that some of the other siblings may not be happy with, may not be comfortable with, and thus the dissension that happens within the family. When you have a trust, i.e. if the individual, the parent, whomever holds those assets, had set up a trust during their lifetime, it does one of two things, well, several things. First of all, it allows the individual to see how that trust operates during their lifetime. So unlike a will, which really does not come into effect until you pass, so you're unable to see what happens with what you have put in place because you're gone. The executor is there. The intention is hopefully very clear in the will, but it's still left to interpretation. But with a trust, if you execute that during your lifetime, you transfer legal title because the trust separates what we call legal and beneficial interest in those assets. The trustee is a legal holder, title holder, but he doesn't have beneficial interest in those assets. And this is where the trustee sets out the terms and the conditions that the trustee holds those assets, how and when they should be distributed. So with a third party now in place, the individual can see during their lifetime, here is what's happening. I have an operating company, or the trustee is holding my securities portfolio. It's being managed successfully. During his lifetime, he can receive income, or what we can say, he can receive a benefit from that trust during his lifetime. If he needs or wants to make any changes because during the operation of the trust arrangement, he's not happy or not satisfied, or so we see a way that it can be improved, then that is an opportunity for the individual to do this during his lifetime, so that subsequently there's no need to make any changes. He can have the comfort of knowing that subsequent to his demise, everything that he has structured and everything that he has seen operate will continue. And believe it or not, this eliminates what we talk about with regards to sibling rivalry. Why? Because you have a third party who is an objective party and not somebody who has any interest in those assets directly. Their main activity and their main goal and their main objective is to ensure that the intentions of that individual are carried out. And there are certain duties that a trustee have that they will be held to ensure that those duties are carried out. So you see, it eliminates one sibling looking at the other and saying, well, you did this and that was not what mommy intended or not what daddy intended, or the other saying, no, I want to have it my way, and you eliminate that sibling dissension. Or even sometimes I've seen individuals, two sisters who just don't speak to each other anymore. And it would have all been eliminated because, you know why? It's in the hands of a third party, a corporate entity, an objective view, and there is a contractual arrangement that sets out during that person's lifetime what should happen. So that is the way that the trust will eliminate these types of situations.
US Gold stand behind you, their valued customers 100% with no games and no gimmicks like the imitators and the fakers. US Gold stand behind their trademark that they pay more than any other gold or silver buying establishment. And now sending out word to you conch vendors and fishermen that they're now buying conch pearls and paying you top dollar for your conch pearls. You know the drill. Nobody pays more for your gold or silver. And now conch pearls. Call them at 431-3847 or go into Thompson Boulevard and ask for Casey or Charles. Be 100% sure that it's US Gold or nothing.
Looking for quiet, relaxation, elegance and luxurious but yet affordable pampering? Come and see us at Baja Retreat Spa, East Bay Street next to Luciano's. How about a manicure, pedicure, facial, eyebrow threading and body sugaring? You can purchase an instant gift certificate online at www.bajaretreat.com or call us at 323-6711.
You ask how long.
Having problems with your vehicle again? Well, haven't you heard? Humphreys Auto Company is the place for automotive diagnostics, complete auto care service, quality parts, and accessories. The ASE certified technician and L1 engine performance diagnostic specialist with over 20 years experience uses the best replacement parts and latest diagnostic equipment so your vehicle runs right, smoothly, and safely. Humphreys Auto Company facilitates the Bahamas Automotive Training College, and they specialize in both general auto mechanics training and professional ASE courses. Need quality OEM parts for your vehicle? Then get them from Humphreys Auto Parts Department. Simply put, Humphreys Auto Company is your best choice to take care of your vehicle. Located on Ackland Street and Cordo Avenue. Telephone 322-8036 or visit us online at www.humphreysautocompany.limited.com.
Welcome back to Visionaries Show. In our special interview with Mrs. Diane Bingham, Senior Manager, Private Banking and Trust, Bank of the Bahamas International, on the topic of trust and estate planning.
If someone would like to use the Bank of the Bahamas to form a trust or estate planning, what is the first thing that you do, Mrs. Bingham, to guide them along that process, ma'am?
Okay, well, Anastasia, the first things we would do, we would set up a meeting with that person or persons. And the reason we would do that is in order to structure the products and services that we have to that individuals, we need to understand the person or persons. Our conversation would probably center around, first of all, are there siblings? Is there a spouse? Are there children? Are children all domiciled within the Bahamas? Are they domiciled outside of the Bahamas? What are the ages? It gives us an idea of what type of income needs that individual will need. Is there anticipation of changing jurisdiction? Is there any anticipation that you would at some time relocate elsewhere? We also talk about the assets. What type of assets do you hold? Are they real estate, cash, securities, etc., jewelry? And in what capacity are you holding them at the moment? Are you holding them personally in your own name? Are you holding it through corporate structures? So these are the type of conversations that we would have. Then, of course, we would talk about the intention. We need to find out from the individual, what is your intention? What are your plans for the future? What do you anticipate doing with these assets? What would you like to see happen to these assets? And this is what we talk about when we talk about succession planning, because it's really about how assets are transferred from one generation to another. Trust can also be set up for charitable purposes. An individual may want to name a charity as a beneficiary because they may see a need to do so, and this is another conversation that we will have. All of this allows us to structure our arrangement properly so that the terms, the conditions, etc. of that trust arrangement is incorporated in the trust deed, because the trust deed is the guiding legal document for the trustee, and it sets out the duties of the trustee, Bank of the Bahamas, as well as the individual, the settler. What powers do they have? Do they have the power to revoke that arrangement? They certainly do. So it also is an arrangement that is not cut in stone. It can change during its lifetime. It can be revoked, i.e. dissolved, if the settler so intends, if he becomes unhappy for any reason with the trustee, because you don't want to operate with a disgruntled trustee. So we want to be happy in our relationship. Conditions may change. During the lifetime, something may happen where he may need to have those assets returned to him in a personal capacity. So these are the conversations that we would have with an individual to ascertain their needs personally, ascertain income needs of the individual, so we can see how best we can structure those assets, because another part of what we do is wealth management. And we can look at what are the needs for the future, maybe anticipating. So we can help also in saying, here's what types of assets you should look at investing in, or you should look at holding, and also how best to hold them, because there's certain types of assets like businesses that may be open to liability, and if you're holding a business in a personal capacity, you can expose yourself to liability and risk. So incorporating or putting that in a structure that limits the liability to the corporate structure is something that we can also talk about. So the conversation we would have with the individual would help us determine what are the best products and services that Bank of Bahamas can provide to that person, not just to assist ourselves, but to best assist that client.
Happy Valentine's from Island Preacher Weddings. Island Preacher Weddings. Planning to get married this year? Let Island Preacher Weddings assist you. Island Preacher Weddings is a licensed wedding officiant and justice of the peace. We create memorable wedding services, ceremonies island style. Our office number 356-5683 or 325-0683. Our US line 305-307-1437. We are located on Charlotte Street between Shirley and Bay Street. Get 25% off your chapel wedding for the month of February 2013. Legal work not included in discount. Also, happy Valentine's from Pedal Pushers, elegant florists for every blooming thing. Pedal Pushers, East Bay Street, telephone 326-2663. And Pedal Pushers on Carmichael Road, telephone 341-0195. Pre-order your Valentine's Day arrangement now. Prices will be honored until February 8, 2013. Get 12 Baccarat roses arranged for $180. 12 regular red roses arranged for $120. 12 regular red roses with 3 Casablanca lilies arranged for $140. And 6 regular red roses arranged for $60. Also, happy Valentine's from Accessory Haven, the mall at Marathon. Telephone 393-8317. Baha Retreat and Anti-Aging Spa, East Bay Street. Telephone 323-6711. BahamasLocal.com 676-2685. Bank of the Bahamas, Shirley and Charlotte Streets, Tonic Williams Darling Highway, Thompson Boulevard, Carmichael Road, Village Road. Telephone 397-3000. Superwash and its 9 convenient locations. Telephone 323-6726. Nassau Street and Boyd Road, Gibbs Corner, East Street and Soldier Road, Wolf Road and Mackey Street, Robinson Road and Blue Hill Road, Blue Hill and Carmichael Road, Robinson Road and Minnie Street, Prince Charles at Fox Hill, and Carmichael Road and Fade Avenue. And US Gold, telephone 395-8257. East Street, Bay Street, Village Road, Marathon Mall, Thompson Boulevard.
Any final comments that you have at this time, Mrs. Bingham?
Well, I would like to say that, over the last July 2011, there was legislation enacted which now allows real estate, which was something previously that could not be transferred by a person into a trust without the imposition of tax, government stamp tax. But that can now take place. Also, trusts can be used for uses other than commercial. I mentioned charitable. You can also use them for commercial uses. And we have instances such as acting as bondsman, acting as an agent in a short-term relationship. So trust can be used for those purposes. Life insurances. I'm very proud to say that we were the first in the industry with a product that allows a trust to be used as a beneficiary of a life insurance policy. And it's a very unique one, and is one that we found that has been extremely accepted with regard into the domestic market, because it allows an individual to name some further options other than the limitations imposed in a life insurance policy.
We just want to thank you, Mrs. Bingham, and the Bank of the Bahamas for your assistance and appearing on this show.